All right, I'm making this video. I'm going to be talking about an incident that occurred while I was at work. Um, there, I witnessed an accident that happened on the property that I work at, where this lady, she pulls into the parking lot. She parks into the designated FedEx parking slot. In this parking lot, you have parking designated parking areas. So you have parking for the employees, you have parking for customers that go to FedEx, you have parking for people that are here for the doctor's office, and so on and so forth. So she um, she parks her vehicle, and she gets out of her vehicle. She's like a Hispanic female, and she's driving like a white Chevy. I want to say it was like a Cobalt or some kind of hybrid sedan cross SUV type vehicle. Anyways, so she gets out of her vehicle. She immediately looks over at me, and I'm seated in my vehicle at the other end of the parking lot. And something that she did, there was a bit of a gesture that she did with her lips. Now, I see this gesture very often, and I've heard different things about this gesture. Some people call it like Duper's Delight. I've also heard it being called the witch's laugh. And to me, it reminds me of a snake's mouth. So like when a person tucks their lips in, it kind of looks like the mouth of a snake a little bit. And I notice, like, I don't know, I feel like it's mostly reptilians that do that. People that are either straight up reptilians or they're hybrids. They have this thing to where they'll purse their lips. The Bible even talks about it. I think it's in is it in Psalms or Proverbs or one of those books where it talks about how a wicked person will purse their lips. So anyway, she looks over at me. She purses her lips. She does the Duper's Delight deal. After she does that, she proceeds to walk across the parking lot headed towards the FedEx building. Now, as she's walking across the parking lot, she gets hit head on by a large Dodge Ram truck. It was a white Dodge Ram truck. Now, I can't believe that this stuff is happening right before my eyes. I'm sitting there like in shock for a minute because I kind of sat there like, did this just happen? So I immediately got out my car, ran up to her. The guy that actually hit her was actually an undercover Houston police officer. Okay, so he gets out of his truck. Her shoe had been knocked off of her. When she got hit, I thought for sure like she was going to be unconscious or, uh, you know, or worse. You know what I mean? Like she got hit really hard. Like you could hear the noise, of a human being hit by a vehicle. I mean, it was just very creepy. But anyway, so I run up to her. The officer that hit her, again, he was undercover. He was in plain clothes. He didn't seem really, I don't know. It was something about his demeanor, and he just seemed a bit nonchalant about it. And I would be freaking out. And I know that these people, people are like kind of trained to be calm and stuff like that. But I don't know, like, if you just hit a human being, or a person or whatever, it just seems like you'd be a little bit more frantic about it. But anyways, so we're on the ground trying to assist her. We help her get in her vehicle or whatever, and she's sitting in the car. I'm observing her. I'm asking her if what hurts. Is your breathing okay? And stuff like that. Just trying to keep her talking. And then while I'm doing that, I'm also talking to the undercover cop. Now, I call the ambulance, of course. I'm on the phone with them, giving them a description of the vehicle and, giving them the victim's information and all that. And I'm grilling the officer. I'm like, man, you didn't see this lady walking across the parking lot? Like, you just totally just, kind of like giving them a guilt trip about it. But, he was like, nah, I didn't see her, whatever, whatever. And, um, yeah, he just seemed real nonchalant about it. And I'm going to show you guys the video. I just want to give you uh, just the gist of what happened before I show the video. And I want you guys to tell me if you think that this guy or this cop I want you guys to tell me if you feel like this was fake and if it was staged or if it was actually real. Because initially, when it first happened, I already knew right off the bat something was fishy. Because when you're being gang stalked, by these reptilians, by, the CIA, FBI, these different agencies that are run by these reptilians. They do a lot of acting and street theater in front of you. And a lot of times, in order for their tactics to work on you, whether psychologically or physically or whatever, um, it has to be done within view of you. So that's why oftentimes you'll always find people, these gang stalkers or these reptilians or hybrids, they'll go out their way to do things right within your view because they need you to be able to see it. Okay. So I just thought that was very odd that that happened right in front of me. It looked just like something that was staged, but it was mind boggling to me because it's like, how did this lady not sustain any injuries? I saw her face go into the hood of that truck like as if it dented it. I didn't even look on the truck to see if it was dented, but she hit it that hard to where there should have been a dent on that truck. And also she should have had like a broken nose or some missing teeth or swollen lips or swollen face. Nothing. I sat there and looked at this lady. I did notice that she had this necklace on her neck, and you guys will notice it in the video as well. That necklace looked like something a witch would wear. It looked satanic. It kind of looked like a lightning bolt type of necklace or whatever. It was something very similar to what I saw in a movie that I watched many years ago. There's a movie called Spellbinder. I think it came out in 1988 or the early 90s. And it was about this guy who was a lawyer, and he meets this kind of like strange, mysterious woman. He ends up kind of like falling in love with her, and come to find out, she's a witch, and they're plotting to basically sacrifice this dude. So that same necklace that she had on, the lady had on that got hit by the truck, looked like the same necklace that the witch had on in that movie. So again, it's called Spellbinder. It came out in 1988. The main actor was Tim Daly. Tim Daly. So you guys should definitely check that movie out. And so anyway, going back to the story. So I call the ambulance gets there, and they don't seem really like in a rush. You know what I mean? It was just, I'm just sitting back, just looking at the whole scene. I'm like, this is some BS. Like, these people they staged this thing. A lot of you may know that the CIA does work with Hollywood when they make movies and stuff like that. So that's where they get a lot of this street theater stuff from. They work alongside with Hollywood, and they're able to set these things up to make it look like it's actually real when it's not. And I think the main reason why they did that was, okay, they're always running psychological operations on me at work. I get gang stalked at work every single day. Okay. And, they're always running Psy-Ops on me. These gang stalkers have this thing to where they always like to have people walk out in front of my vehicle while I'm driving. Okay. So as to give the impression that I'm going to hit them, or I'm not going to stop, and it could happen at any moment. So that's why it's always important to just be vigilant and be very careful when you're driving, because they'll try to set it up and make it look like, you're some kind of nut who doesn't know how to drive or something like that. When in fact, what they're doing is they're plotting things ahead of your journey, so that when you queue up or you get to the marker, they will then enact their street theater, whether it's having a child walk out in front of you or somebody drive their bike out in front of you. I can't tell you how many times I've experienced this, where, people would just deliberately walk in front of my vehicle while it's moving. You know what I mean? So, I guess they did that because a lot of times when people do stupid stuff like that, if I have the time and space, I will drive around them. You know what I mean? It's like, you're being evil, and you're doing this thing to where you're marking my steps and trying to queue up with me so that you could do this street theater. If you want to indulge in that wickedness, whatever the consequences come of that is going to be on you. Now, I don't have any intentions of hitting anybody while I'm driving my vehicle at all. Okay. But what I'll do is, like, I will quickly drive around the person. They have this thing where they always like to cross your path. It's always about crossing you. The planes cross you overhead. You have gang stalkers that cross in front of you on the street. It's like, it's ritualistic, and it's them kind of like putting curses on you in a way. And they do that through subliminal means at times. They have messages that they try to convey. Those of you that are true targeted individuals, you know exactly what I'm speaking of here. But So anyways, the ambulance is there. They're not really, they don't seem too concerned. They didn't even really have their emergency lights on. The undercover cop that was there on the scene, he he told me that his supervisors were coming out and all that kind of stuff. And it was a couple other ladies that showed up. I guess they were his supervisors. They were also in plain clothes as well. There was only like, I want to say maybe one or two actual cop cars that were on the scene, and none of them had their emergency lights on. So to me, that says to me that this was staged and it wasn't something that was going to warrant them having to cut on their emergency lights because they knew it was fake. Okay. The chick that got hit, this lady that got hit, she worked for a law firm. Coincidentally, there's also a law firm that's in the parking lot that I work at as well. It's an immigration law firm, and so she works at a law firm. Two of her colleagues, they come to the scene as well. I immediately identified that these people were not human. Especially the lawyers that showed up on the scene. They made it a point to stand right next to me, like peculiar, like very peculiar of them to want to stand that close to me, trying to get an account of what happened. And he wanted to get my name and phone number and stuff like that. I was like, I gave it to him because I'm like, hey, I might get some money out of this. You know what I'm saying? This lady just got hit by an undercover cop, being careless or whatever. Maybe they want to break me off some change or, give me some bread for it. But that wasn't the case at all. It was just a setup. And for some reason, these reptilians, these entities, whatever you want to call them, these hybrids, it's like something about my energy, I guess, and they just like being close to me for whatever reason. And it's just very odd to experience that. Those of you that are true TIs know, again, you know what I'm talking about. Even the law enforcement officer, when it was almost time for me to go, I asked them if they needed anything else from me because my shift had already ended. And it was this Asian cop who interviewed me and asked me what happened. He had a camera. He was taking pictures. And it was just, I could just tell that the whole thing was just a setup and it was just fake. The Asian cop, he then is standing extra close to me. And he goes extra and he grabs my wrist with his hand. And he pulled me away like, okay, there was oncoming traffic in the parking lot, right? I wasn't in the way that much to where it was needed for me to move. But I guess the Asian cop felt like he needed to protect me or keep me out of harm's way. So he grabbed my wrist and he kind of like moved me over to the side. And I felt like when he grabbed my wrist, he was reading me. It was like some sort of I don't know. It was like he had to touch me to get some sort of read on me or to get a feel for my energy. It was just very odd and strange. But yeah, I just want you guys to determine whether or not this stuff was real, if you think it was real, or if it's actually fake. I believe that it was fake. I believe it was set up. I don't know how they pulled that off with that chick. Maybe she was a stunt woman. But I saw that woman get hit by that truck. I mean, how do you get hit like that and fall down and your shoe falls off and that not really happen? Some of these reptilians may, have that ability to where they can just keep themselves from being harmed, when they get hit, or I don't know. But they are fallen angels, or children of the fallen angels. And, so I'm sure they have other abilities that we may not be aware of. That they use to their benefit. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and play this video, and I want you guys to just tell me what you think. Let me get to it in my camera here. Just 1 second. All right, I think it's this one right here. So that's the undercover cop. This is the undercover cop right here on his Neo. This was after we helped her to her vehicle. What's your name, sir? Are you with the Houston police? Okay. Are they asking you all those questions? They didn't ask me those questions. I'm just trying to, for my records. Yeah, I got you. No problem. Are you on duty or just like I'm on duty. Okay. That's what I mean. Oh, sorry about that. No, we're having a meeting over here. I'm so sorry, y'all. Houston police? Okay. Are they asking you all those questions? They didn't ask me those questions. I'm just trying to put my records.
Yeah, I got you. No problem.
Are you on duty or just like?
I'm on duty.
Okay.
That's why let me keep my supervisor out here.
Gotcha. Did someone call you to the property for anything, or?
No, we're having a meeting over here, so.
Oh, okay. And see, I thought it was very odd that he was there to begin with because, you know, what is an undercover cop doing on the property that I'm supposed to be working at, you know, securing and stuff like that. Normally, if I see police, they're in their vehicles, and if they come on the property that I'm responsible for, of course, I'm going to walk up to law enforcement and ask them what's going on, because that, you know, part of my job is to also do reports whenever there are incidents, even if law enforcement is on the property. Like, I have to talk to them. That's, you know, that's part of what my job entails, because I have to put those things in my report. So I just thought it was odd that he was there, and then when I questioned him as to why he was there, it was like he kind of stalled a little bit and like had to make up something, but he said he was there to make a meeting. Now, this officer, even after that incident that day, and this happened March 29th of this year, 2020, at about I want to say 1:37 p.m. Okay. And I've seen this officer since that incident on the property a couple times, actually, but he was in different vehicles. Okay. So these people are running psychological operations on me, and it's like they're sending these same people and using different vehicles to just kind of surveil me, and just like, I don't know what they're up to. All I know is just to focus on my job and not really, you know, put too much energy or attention into what they're doing. But it's hard because you have to pay attention to everything. The Bible says, be sober and vigilant, for your adversary, the devil, roams about like a lion, seeking whom he may devour. So you always have to be vigilant. But let me continue to play the video. Jeez. So you totally didn't see her when you made that turn, huh?
No,
Man. So about 10 minutes ago, there was an accident here. There was a lady walking out from her vehicle. She had just parked in front of the FedEx parking spot, and she was walking out into the driveway approaching FedEx, and then this Ram truck basically just ran into her, smacked her like from the front, and then she just kind of fell on the ground, and I ran up and approached her and immediately called 911. So we're now just waiting for the ambulance to come out, and she seems to be all right. She's a little disoriented. She feels dizzy, and y'all look at her chain on her neck. You know, that chain, it looks very similar to what I saw that witch wear on that movie. And notice she has on all black. And, you know, if it was real, if she really did get hit like that, I don't believe that this person is what she appears to be. I believe she was either a witch or one of these hybrids or reptilians. But either way, there's no way that she did not sustain any injury, you know, right off the bat, physically anyways, upon impact of that vehicle on her body. So the ambulance is on the way right now. It's 13:24 right now. Today is March 19th, 2020. Yeah, she was just hit by the vehicle, so we got an ambulance that's coming. That's why. Are you a cop too? No, truck driver. Oh, okay. Yeah. Was that pedestrian accident? Yeah, she was just walking out from her car, and this truck turned the corner and just smacked into her. So. They're coming, okay? So sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry. Yeah, I saw it. Is there anything you need, like water or anything, or no? Okay. So, you know, God forgive me if I'm wrong, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, it was just based off of what I observed while I was there. Just my intuition just spoke to me, and just something was very fishy about this this incident or whatever. But we'll continue playing the video. record just for my records, just so you know. They got a whole bunch of tow truck vehicles coming up through here. I'm not sure why. I understand. I understand. I'm sorry? That's Greenbrier. Greenbrier. Yes, sir. This is her vehicle. And see her face and like, you know, nothing swollen, no bleeding. I mean, if you guys had have seen, I wish I had a camera going. I actually had my car cam on, but it didn't the loop time. I didn't set it to a longer duration, so it kind of looped over the footage that I got, so I wasn't able to retrieve the actual footage of the accident. But yeah, no broken nose, no busted lip, no swollen face. I mean, it was just very strange. Do you want your car on to have the AC going? Are you okay heat wise? Okay. Over there, the ambulance is right there. Hey, be careful. You see that truck? The truck behind you? Be careful making the turn. He's trying to bring it to your attention. He was going. He was going to go for it. It just all this craziness that's just going on. You know what I mean? Like this dude is like backing up, and he has on the color, that the perps usually wear and stuff like that. So it's like it was just a circus that day, I swear. And I was just in the middle of it, just trying to, just get footage and anyways. See her shoes off her left foot. Now, again, uh, if this was real, like I said, what I don't know, this lady, it could, could be witch, reptilian, a perp. All I know is when she got out the car and looked over at me and did that duper's delight, that is this one of the signatures of these perps. So if that was like, I really don't believe in karma. I believe that the Most High will render judgment and He'll do things at times to punish you. But I'm really not a believer in karma. But if she was a perp and she was there, giving me that demonic look or whatever, um, sometimes the Most High will do certain things to show these wicked ones that that His children are protected and they're loved and looked after. And I know in the Bible it says, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." So if that was the case and she got hit, then that was solely the Most High's hand at work there. But yeah, let me finish playing the video. I also don't know what it is about these witches and reptilians with drinking water. That's another thing that I noticed they do a lot in front of me. Like they'll have a drink in their hand. A lot of times it's a bottle of water. And once they see me and they see that I see them, they'll make it a point to tip their drinks up, almost as if like they're toasting. They've toasted to my death or demise or something like that. And they're just celebrating by drinking. I don't know. That's the image I kind of get in my head whenever I see that. And they kind of do that a lot around me. I don't know if any of you other TIs have experienced that too, but there's something with these demons and drinking water, um, that's pretty significant. See, just his movement and demeanor, it's just like an act. And then me having my cell phone on, I'm pretty sure that kind of hindered the acting a little bit more. Like if I didn't have any of my recording devices, maybe I don't know. It's something about this just did not seem right. And I don't know if you guys have picked up on anything yet, but yeah, just keep watching. So the cat was just too high, I guess. You couldn't see her when she was walking across the way. You didn't see her at all. At least she's up and talking. I'm glad she's at least up and talking and stuff. Could have been a whole lot worse. Where'd the other lady go? Did she leave? I'm not sure. I didn't see when she went. So yeah, there was a nurse that also was on the ground with us, helping her as well. You just heard the officer ask where the other lady was, and that's who he was referring to. So the nurse also assisted us in helping her get to her vehicle. The nurse retrieved the lady's ID and gave that to me, but I didn't need that information because dispatch was not requesting that. They just wanted to know the location and what had happened, and they wanted to know about the vehicle that hit her and stuff like that. So um, Yeah, and the nurse works in the building on the parking lot that I work at. They have doctors' offices up in there, so they have medical staff, emergency personnel. So I guess they got alerts on their phone that there had been an accident in the parking lot. So it was actually a few other nurses that also came down as well. So I thought that was pretty cool that emergency people that work in the medical field can get alerted to assist in situations until an ambulance can get there. So but yeah, that's probably how it works with the gang stalking, right? Whenever a target's in the area, they out, the perps get alerted. So it's probably the same type of system that they use.
You saw it, right? Yeah, I saw the accident and hurt. I saw everything. They're gonna want to talk. Sorry, they're gonna want to talk. Sure, sure. Do y'all usually have meetings up here, police officers? We're meeting at a law firm. Law firm. Okay. Is that right about? I don't think it's that. Okay. There's HPD right there.
And see, the officer just so happened to be, he said that they're having a meeting with the law firm there. This lady in this vehicle also worked for a law firm downtown. And as I said earlier in the video, two of her colleagues came down to see about her and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't believe in coincidences. There are a lot of coincidences that happen when you're being targeted, and it was very coincidental that there was affiliations with these people and law firms. So
Another HPD officer. Oh, well, they gotta come to the scene to work there.
there's the other HPD vehicle, the first one on the scene.
How you doing, sir? If you don't mind, could I have your name? Maria? Terrace? Terrace. Okay.
So yeah, that's what the lawyer. There's actually two of them that showed up on the scene. Those are her colleagues that came out to check on her, and yeah, they definitely were not human.
Are you the supervisor? Please work with her. Oh, gotcha. Where do y'all work on the property, sir? We work downtown. Downtown? Well, midtown. Okay. Midtown. So I guess y'all sent her on an errand to FedEx. Ah, okay. Yeah, I saw it happen. So she was walking from her vehicle across the parking lot, and the truck was turning the corner right there. Smacked right into it, like face first, and she just fell on the ground. So I immediately ran up. There was another lady that was in another vehicle who was, I think, a medical professional nurse or something. So she also approached and assisted and called an ambulance, and they got here fairly quickly. Glad she's at least up and talking and doesn't seem to be too serious. That's true too, yeah. Your supervisor's still en route?
A lot of supervisors are in route. Hey, I think we're under control, man. If you want, you just take care of the rest of the parking lot. We got this under control.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And there's a part two to this video as well, so I'm gonna be posting that. I probably won't. Yeah, I'll be posting that as well. So there's a second part that I'm gonna show you guys. In about 2 minutes, this will be done. This part one.
All praises and glory be unto the Father in heaven. I am grateful that she didn't get, it could have been a whole lot worse. She could be unconscious. She could have had something broken. I mean, they're still checking her out, so there might be some issues, but this is my belief. They're trying to possibly set me up with something, and this unfortunate accident occurred. I've been a victim of organized stalking and harassment, and it's a program where they target innocent people who are just trying to live their lives and work and just live in peace, but for whatever reason, they've been trying their darndest to set me up for a very long time, to lock me up in jail or prison. And this unfortunate accident occurred while they were trying to pull off their little psychological operations on me. And the Most High, when I say the Most High looks after his children, he really does. He really does look out for his children. I have strong faith and trust in that. So, yeah. All praises and glory be unto the Most High. I had been reading this prayer, and this prayer really helped me out. I'm going to go ahead and read it out loud. And I have it saved in my phone in my notes, so I just can easily access it. It's a psalm. My hands are a little shaky because I can't believe this just happened. So this truck, let me give you a rundown of what happened. So I'm sitting in my vehicle just observing, the parking lot from this vantage point, and I observed this lady get out of her vehicle. It's a white vehicle. I can't really go back over there because one of the officers has instructed me to go ahead and go back to what I was doing. So from the distance, let me see if I can zoom in. My hands are real shaky. It won't let me zoom in right now. But there is a lady that parked in the FedEx parking lot over there on the other side of the HPD vehicle. And she was walking over to FedEx, across the parking lot headed towards FedEx. And this white Dodge truck just pulls around the corner and smacks right into her. Like, just totally smacks right into this lady. And, like from her front. So her face hit the truck. And she bounced off of the truck and under the truck. And the dude was, like, almost about to run her over. So after that, I run out my vehicle immediately to approach her to assist. The officer gets out of his truck and, is squatted down trying to help her. And then there was this other lady who was a nurse or some type of medical.
Okay, so that's the end of the part one of it. Anyways, I'll be posting part two today or tomorrow or something like that. But yeah. So it also could possibly be could have been a test to see how I would respond to that situation as well. Because again, as I've said before, they like to have people run out in front of my vehicle, and obviously I'm going to slam on my brakes or stop and whatnot. But sometimes you have these idiots that they go too far with it. And what I'll do is I'll drive around them. So I guess in a way it's like they're trying to imply that I'm not being safe or something of that to that effect. But when in reality, what they're doing is they're conducting evil works against me by waiting for me to pass by and then jump out right when I'm about to, pass their marker or whatever. So how evil is that? Having people wait on you, people lurking around corners. And the Bible talks about this type of stuff. In the book of Psalms, there's scriptures in there that talk about this stuff, that tell you exactly what these people do. And just 1 second. Let me look for something here. Just give me one moment. Okay, so Psalm 56, and let me get this camera to turn around real quick. Okay, so here we go. So I always have this in my phone in my notes. It's Psalm 56. All day long they twist my words, and their schemes are for my ruin. They conspire, they lurk, they watch my steps, hoping to take my life. Because of their wickedness, do not let them escape. In your anger, Father, bring them down. So again, this could have been a situation where the Most High conducted this himself, or it could have been a psychological operation to try to test me out, to see how I would respond to it. You guys be the judge of it. You know what I'm saying? I have different theories on it. One or two of them may be right. I don't know. But again, it was very fishy. The officer didn't seem, he just seemed a little nonchalant to me. He didn't really seem too concerned. It was almost like he was acting like he was concerned in a way. But either way, these are the types of things these people will do just to get to you. They will endanger the lives of others just so they can pull off their little $1 million Psy-Op or whatever. Because you best believe that there's money being put into this. And that leads me to believe that there are not really that many TIs. If they're putting that much money into this stuff, there are probably not that many of us that are out there like that are going through this. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. And yeah, just let me know what you guys think.